All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're late, but you're still welcome to the press, reaching you live from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN television. And now we've been joined by another guest. He's a political analyst, and his name is Abbas Khalifa. Together, we shall be taking a look at more headlines coming to you from our national dailies. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right, now this headline from the Daily Trust says is on the Naira crisis, and you're not new to it. Nobody in Nigeria is new to it. Even those in the rural areas have had the effect of this Naira redesign. But this headline says Naira crisis, APC government rejects 10th of February deadline given by the central bank. I'll just read the other headlines attached to it. It says, tell Emefiele that people are paying to get their money, demand 1 year extension. And APC, it says the APC governors are to meet Buhari today, and there's a protest in Lagos. Military operations suffer as troop ambushes cash trapped. Only masses are suffering. Politicians have their way, say Kwankwaso. So what's your thought on all of this and the way this Naira redesign has been politicized? Like they are seriously using it to play some kind of politics. Because if you ask me, I'm of the opinion that this should have nothing to do with politics. Politics should be on its own side, while the economy, especially this issue of Naira redesign, should be on the other hand. But then, for some reasons, that's been intertwined. What do you say to this?
Well, first of all, the question is, why are we having the Naira change now close to election? It has nothing to do with politics. If they did not actually bring it to politics. If we had this Naira notes change last year, 2 years back, nobody would talk about it politics. No politician will come and complain about him having issues with it. And before now, people will actually circulate their money and old note will actually disappear. But it's coming a month to election. This is a month of election. Presidential election. So at some point, some politicians think they actually brought it to avoid them from doing something. You have to look at it in a two-cycle. It has nothing to do with politics. But why are the politicians talking about it? And again, it has nothing to do with politics. Why are they doing it now? I get the point. So this is Nigeria. Whatever is happening, you surely know there is something actually behind the table that you don't actually know what is happening. And I think, look at other countries. They change their Naira notes, or let's say money notes. But how can you change a money note and give a month or 2 months for people to finish spending their money? And you know one funny thing about Nigeria is, Nigeria is a very big place. And you'll be surprised. You go to some northern states. I'm not sure of some southern states. Northern states, they actually have one bank in the complete village.
Wow.
Or maybe like 3 or 4 villages are using one bank in a particular village. So tell me, and those local traders, they don't actually have bank accounts. So tell me, how are they going to start about it now? Is it by them opening the bank account and trying to actually put their money inside their banks? How long will it take? And how do you expect those kind of people to spend their money and exchange them to Naira notes? And again, people like me and you, let's assume we have bank accounts and we want to change our money. How do you intend to do it? You go to ATMs now and see how people are making queue every day. People are fighting to withdraw their own money. It's not as if somebody is giving them money for free. It's their own money, but they have to fight to get it. Like for me, I think I spent like almost 5 days now. I don't have cash on me, like at all. Everything you have to do is cashless. And it's not every single person that understands transfer. The transfer is having issues, network. You transfer money to go to the person the next day after. So how do you expect it to survive? It's a good motive to change our currency. We don't have any issue on that. But how the process is going is the problem.
Okay, you've talked about the two sides to the motive behind the change of the Naira notes now. But then, the part I would want to take out from one of the headlines Sandra read out is the fact that the House of Reps are demanding a 1 year extension to the deadline of this new Naira notes. If the new Naira note was designed to curb electoral malpractices such as vote buying, if that was the reason, extending it by 1 year, the elections must have come and gone.
Yes.
Those, and in the Nigerian usual manner, the people that would want to go to the court would have gone to the court and would have returned. That is, if we are to put the new Electoral Act into the equation here now. So now, don't you think the whole idea is solely centered around politics? If we are to look at the recent outburst of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, and the governor of Kaduna State also coming out to say that they are not the presidential campaign council of the APC. They are not scared of the cabals, of the unseen cabals in Aso Rock. What do you make of these whole scenarios?
Okay, but the first motive is the president. What does he speak about the change of the Naira notes? Is it because he wants the economy to grow, or is it because he wants people not to do vote vying? So if he's saying I'm just bringing this in because of to avoid vote vying, then they cannot extend it. Extending it will be of no use of changing the notes. But if it's for the economy, then I think he can extend it for a year. But in a realistic manner, like I said, 2 months is not enough for any country to change their complete currency, especially in an African country like Nigeria that we deal with cash. If we go to Europe, in most American states and Asian countries, mostly people use cashless. They're not used to spending cash. Everything you want to do is what you call ATM or either transfer. So they don't actually have issue when it comes to change of currency or how fast they actually want to avoid it. But here we are talking about Nigeria. Our uncles in the villages have no bank accounts. They have their money in cash. They sell their items in cash. So now is a whole new process to actually go on to that particular topic. When we talk about vote vying, so let me come back to vote vying. Okay. How do we abort vote vying? I think the government are misunderstanding what is vote vying.
Okay.
You go out to give money to people to buy their votes. Do you think by changing the notes, they will not do vote vying? There is transfer. There is so many means of actually moving the money. It's not going to be as easy as take and vote, but we are Nigerians. And if we're going to make it happen, it will happen. So I think it's more about changing the mindset of the voters to understand why would they sell their votes for anybody. Like I have so many interviews, I have conversations with a lot of people, and this is one topic I am very, very angry about whenever I'm speaking about it. This issue of vote vying. Because we sell our votes and elect a president or a leader from whatever stage he will be contesting from. After him becoming the successor of that particular election or leading you, a governor, a member, a president, then we'll start suffering. And we'll start blaming and insulting them for our sufferness. After we've already sold the so-called power we had to actually vote for who we want to vote for. Before, I had no candidates for presidency. When they asked me, I told them I don't have any candidates. APC have failed, hopefully. And I see no reason for another person to come from APC and there is nobody to convince me and tell me that he's actually going to do better than this government that we're having. Because I think President Muhammadu Buhari is one single person that I know that people genuinely loved him while voting for him in his first tenure. And after we had that 4 years, I told my colleagues, as I say, I cannot vote for this person again. Because, yes, I might agree with you that he's a good person, him as a person, but he's not a good president. In a way that a president is a what do you call it, is not a single person, is people and people and people working together to make sure the presidency works. So if him alone, him being a good person, and all the people who surrounded him are not actually buying his own idea of becoming good people to Nigerians, we're going to suffer. So let's assume we give him 4 years, and he did 4 years, and to me, I wasn't satisfied to go and vote for him again. I said, I'm out. Some people are saying, no, the country has spoiled, so they need to actually go on and repair a lot of things. That were stories. And I told them way before. And now, after 8 years, so now when people are complaining about presidency, we are suffering, I just lie down and smile. Because I knew it's actually going to come. We're actually going to come to this stage. Because I cannot give you a rent of my house for 4 years, and after spoiling the house, and you have to, do you have any, I don't think you have anything to tell me to convince me to give you another rent of that particular house. I prefer renting to another person, and giving my faith to an unknown person to come and showcase his own idea. So now Tinubu is coming from APC. He is the leader of the so-called APC group, and now he's the candidate of the APC. So all these 8 years that we are actually suffering in this country, where was he?
That's quite so
coming back to PDP, and you see what is happening. Atiku, Okowa, Uke, there is a lot of things that is happening, and as I say, look, I am going to face a direction and vote for someone I'm actually convinced that if he actually gets to that point, we'll have some change.
But then you also made mention of the fact that Buhari on his own, in his person, is a great man. But the presidency is not so great. So, which means we can also look in a direction and say, this person is a nice person, is a great person. And then we all thumbprint for that person. Everybody votes for the person. But then the presidency might still end up not being great. So if just being a person is a good person is not a good enough reason for people to vote you as president, what else?
Okay, like I said, we had a mistake on voting for Buhari for him being a good person as a person. And I said this in when we had Goodluck Jonathan as the president, where people were talking and a lot of things were happening. And I told him as a person, I see him as a very calm and good person. But leadership takes a lot of things. So you have to be a lot more than just being a good person to become a leader. So we have tried him. We have tried somebody of a person of Buhari, and this is what we actually get. So now, and every day you are becoming more educated in what is happening within you. So now you have to understand, if, for example, you are coming out to be, president, I'll have to check who is your vice president, who is your national chairman, who is your state governors, who are your campaign team. At least, there is no guarantee to anything in this country, just to be sure. But at least you have some faith and say, okay, maybe when I vote for you, God will bring some change. Because before we thought Buhari is going to be the one to bring some change, but now we all believe that the change is coming from God. So we just have to go to the direction that God sent you and vote for who you want. And if you're lucky enough, then that is it. And I tell people, you're going to vote for election, you vote for who you want to vote for. If he wins, you're happy. If he doesn't win, doesn't mean you fail. It means God wins. So whoever comes, just pray for him to be a good person. And if he's going to bring good policies to what will actually benefit Nigerians, then you have nothing to be against. Don't go and say, okay, he's a PDP member, so I'm going to vote for all PDP members because I'm a PDP member. You know there are some bad people in PDP.
True.
So you know there are some bad people in APC, and there are some good people everywhere. So you have to understand, okay, go and vote for a person.
Not just about the party.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. It's been a very wonderful time talking to you, though we had very little time to go deep into our conversation. But Sandra, just quickly before we go, I don't know if you noticed today was sent out more about the consciousness of Nigerians. Our first guest dwelled so much on the mind state, the mental health of Nigerians, and our second guest also is talking about our subconscious. And this is a call to all Nigerians. Whatever we're going to do, let's all remember that we have no place to call our home. If Nigeria fails, we all fail, and let's do well to get our PVCs and exercise our civic responsibilities. This is where we'll draw the curtain on the program today. My name is Francis Adeniyi.
And I am Sandra Ago. Bye for now.